Ambition, discipline, and the birth of a legend. Cristiano Ronaldo. One of the most talked about, most criticized, and most watched names in football history. For some, he is the greatest of all time. For others, an unlikable superstar. But there is one truth everyone agrees on. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't just play football. He redefined it. In this documentary, we explore Cristiano Ronaldo's life, career, mindset, successes, and downfalls, not just as a player on the pitch, but as something far greater. This is not just a football documentary. This is the documentary of a mind. A dream that traveled from Madeira to the world. Today, we know Cristiano Ronaldo as a football machine, a goal-scoring monster, a global superstar. But this story did not begin with million-dollar contracts, packed stadiums, or Ballon d'Or ceremonies. This story began in a silent room, on a narrow bed, with a crying child. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born in 1985 on the island of Madeira, Portugal. He grew up in a poor family. His father struggled with alcoholism, while his mother fought every day to keep the family standing. Born in 1985 in Madeira, Cristiano grew up in a crowded and impoverished home. The house was small, opportunities were limited, and life showed its harsh face early. His father worked as a municipal gardener, but battled alcohol addiction. His mother cleaned houses to support the family. At a very young age, Cristiano learned one thing. Nothing in life was guaranteed. He had no toys. He had no room of his own. But he had a ball. And that ball was his entire world. When he lost matches playing on the streets, he cried. Because even as a child, he could not tolerate losing. Other kids mocked him. They called him a crybaby. But no one saw the storm growing inside him. School was never a safe place for him. He wasn't good at academics. He often clashed with his teachers. One day, he even faced expulsion after throwing a chair at a teacher. In that moment, everyone thought he was a troubled child. But the truth was simple. Cristiano was just too passionate. At the age of 8, he began playing football for a small local club called Andorinha. His father worked there as a kit man. Cristiano often stepped onto the pitch wearing worn-out boots. But the moment the ball touched his feet, everything changed. At 12 years old, he made the hardest decision of his life. To leave his family. He moved alone to Lisbon to join Sporting's academy. A small child. An unfamiliar city. Strangers everywhere. He lived in dormitories. At night, he missed his family. He cried in silence. There were days when he called his mother and said, "I want to come home." But every morning, he woke up and returned to the pitch. Because he knew that if he went back, this dream might never come again. At Sporting's academy, the first thing people noticed wasn't his talent. It was his work ethic. He was the kid who never left after training. While others were in the showers, he stayed behind, shooting alone. Before Cristiano Ronaldo ever became a professional, he had already proven one thing. This would not be a story about talent. This was the story of a child who refused to give up. And that child would one day become the most talked about footballer in the world. But on that day, only he knew it. Sporting Lisbon, a child's departure. At just 12 years old, he left his family. He went to Lisbon alone. He lived in dormitories. He cried at night. But he didn't quit. Everyone at Sporting's academy was talented. But Ronaldo was different. Because he wasn't the one who left after training. He was the one who stayed. What separated him from the rest wasn't talent. It was obsession. Manchester United, the birth of a monster. In 2003, at just 18 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson saw the potential within him. But England was ruthless. Opponents were aggressive. The stands were mocking. The media was merciless. He dribbles too much. He's selfish. He plays football just to show off. Ronaldo heard all of it. And he carved every word into his memory. Discipline, physique, and obsession. This is where Cristiano Ronaldo became different. Nutrition. Sleep. Training. Mental preparation. Everything was calculated. While his teammates were out enjoying themselves, he was in the gym. Even late at night, he stayed behind, practicing his shots. And the results followed. In 2009, he moved to Real Madrid. As the most expensive footballer in the world. The pressure was enormous. The expectations were limitless. And there was one name. Lionel Messi. The comparisons began. An endless debate was born. But Ronaldo did something different. He didn't measure himself against Messi. He measured himself against history. The greatest rivalry in football history. Football has seen great players. Legends have come and gone. But the world had never witnessed two peaks at the same time. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. This wasn't just a comparison. It was a collision between two different souls of football. Messi arrived as a gift from nature. The ball seemed glued to his feet. In tight spaces, he didn't disappear, he multiplied. He felt the game. As if the ball understood his thoughts. Ronaldo arrived through conquest. He rebuilt his body from the ground up. He hardened his mind like steel. His speed, power, leap, and finishing. Every single one was earned through relentless work. There was no winner in this rivalry. The winner was football. One generation witnessed two legends at the same time. One generation grew up with these comparisons. And one day, when both finally step away from the stage, people will realize one thing. They were not rivals. They were complements to each other. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Two different paths. Two different personalities. But one undeniable truth. This rivalry can never be written again in football history. And perhaps the greatest question was never who was better, but rather how lucky we were to witness such an era. Records, goals, and the Champions League. At Real Madrid. 450 goals. 4 Champions League titles. Countless finals. Countless defining moments. Cristiano Ronaldo became the all-time top scorer in Champions League history. In every big match, he was there. In every difficult moment, the ball found him. Because he never ran from pressure. He owned it. Ego or leadership? Ronaldo was often criticized. They called him arrogant. They called him selfish. But the real question should have been, was this ego, or the highest form of self-belief? Ronaldo never leaned on anyone else. Because life never taught him how to lean. He built himself. By himself. Portugal and European glory. UEFA Euro 2016. He was injured in the final. He was off the pitch. But still inside the game. He shouted from the sidelines. He directed his teammates. He refused to let belief fade. And Portugal won the first major trophy in its history. In that moment, Ronaldo was no longer just a footballer. He was the symbol of a nation. Juventus, decline narratives, and defiance. It's over. He's finished. The old Ronaldo is gone. When he moved to Juventus, everyone said it. But Ronaldo answered the same way he always had. With goals. With leadership. With records. Because his career was never about ups and downs. It was about resistance. Final words, what remains behind a legend? Years from now, when people look back on this era, they won't remember the statistics, the charts, or even the number of trophies. They will remember a feeling. The breath held in front of the television. The last-minute goal. And that moment when everyone said, "He's done it again." The comparison between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi may never truly end. But as time moves forward, the question will change. Who was better? Will become. Did we witness this? Cristiano Ronaldo's story was never about being chosen. It was about refusing to quit. He knew he wasn't blessed by talent alone. So he rebuilt himself every single day. Through pain, sacrifice, and solitude. And perhaps that's why every goal he scored carried anger. And every celebration felt like a challenge. Ronaldo once said, "Talent gets you started, but hard work keeps you at the top." That sentence is the summary of his life. Messi played football like an art. Ronaldo lived football like a war. One flowed with the game. The other broke its flow. And maybe that's why this rivalry grew so powerful. Because people saw themselves in these two characters. The quiet ones found themselves in Messi. The fighters found themselves in Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't just defeat his rivals. He defeated his destiny. That journey, which began in Madeira, echoed through the greatest stadiums in the world. You don't have to be perfect to begin. But to reach the top, you must never give up. One day, when the stadiums fall silent, the lights fade, and those names are no longer active players, Cristiano Ronaldo will be remembered with one sentence. A man who gave everything. And perhaps his greatest legacy is this. If you believe, if you work, and if you never quit, the world cannot stop you. This was never just a football story. This was the story of a mindset. Cristiano Ronaldo. A name. An era. And a will that will never be forgotten.